Paul Heyman said on this episode, if you're not an asshole at heart, you're not going to cut as a villain in today's environment. Dolph Ziggler said he knows how to pull his strings. Rest in peace, Bela Lugosi. But anyway, I'm John Renton with my review WWE Evil, Episode 2, The Miz. Full disclosure, I have never been the biggest fan of The Miz, but I definitely have to respect the fact that he is still in WWE as a contracted WWE talent, well beyond what I thought was his sale date. I thought that he was going to be done by, say, 2007, 2008. But definitely by 2012, I thought, oh, they made him WWE champion. He's going to be done. That's it. They gave him his one thing that he has, and that's it. Nope, he's still here. He has a beautiful wife, he has a beautiful house, he has some great kids, and as the days go by, The Miz is still in WWE and doing a lot of great shit. I mean, hey, he can work that stick with his mouth. Really sounded a lot less dirty to me before I said it, but let's just move on. Miz has exceeded the expectations of many, many people, and he said in this little documentary piece from Peacock in WWE, and narrated by John Cena, the second of 8 episodes that they just suddenly dropped. I wonder what they're going to do for Season 2. They almost have to do a Season 2, because there's a lot of villains that they could explore and peel back the layers of them. As far as The Miz, this is not, to me, there's not as much juicy stuff as there was in the Hollywood Hulk Hogan one, and maybe as much as there will be in the future episodes. One on Sasha Banks and a couple others. Those reviews should be dropping later in the week. But I gotta say that whether I care for how The Miz wrestles or not, whether I care for the character, whether I feel that the character maybe is just the same old song and dance, by God, if he hasn't made a ton of money doing it. He wanted to succeed, and boy has he. They asked Maurice right off the bat, if you were a fan of the WWE or in the WWE universe, would you like The Miz? Nah. And Maurice offered some good insight here, being the wife of The Miz and all that. How Miz enjoys getting the hate. He does, and he really, really can get the hate. That face run in late 2012, early into mid 2013 really didn't work. Foley did say he enjoys being a dick. Why is The Miz so easy to hate? Does it come naturally, or is it by design? I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, I'm not saying the guy's a horrible person. He seems like a good person. And he seems like he's willing to do anything, really. He's allowed himself to be humiliated a whole lot and can, again, work his mouth on that stick and do some good stuff. And that's a really good talent to have in WWE. But he could cut people down on the mic, and like very few could. Especially those that have to take the scripted material and try to, put it in their own words. And WWE gets to the point where they overly script people so much. And even though, I've really, really grown, tired of The Miz in the last few years, gotta give him credit. He keeps going. Anything you give him, he really tries to knock it out of the park. So, he was on The Real World Season 10, and how nobody liked him, and he created this alternate, alternate version of him, The Miz. And that was just a way to deal with it, and that parlayed him, his chance into WWE on Tough Enough, where he didn't win. Daniel Puder won. Remember Daniel Puder? Remember how he got the shit beat out of him on the 2005 Rumble, or in the 2005 Rumble? That was some pretty good shit. Wouldn't be the only time Benoit would manhandle a younger person. Moving on from that. So, The Miz was his cushion, talking about his season 4 run and everything, and how he had to train. When he got a microphone, he was going to be the Ryan Seacrest of WWE. He didn't just want to do that, but he was given the opportunity. He would do the hosting of SmackDown. He would do, "Hoorah, you suck." I remember that vividly. And man, he was being a goof. He was being over the top, but you could tell, okay, there's something here, but it's not going to last. There's no way this goof could last. Again, I was wrong. And then he made his debut on September 1st, 2006. Everybody wanted to see him get destroyed. And remember Tatanka coming back in 2006 for no goddamn reason? How weird was that? Some people made his life hell. He talked about how he ate some chicken over somebody's bag or whatever, and that person got pissed. I wonder who that was. It was Benoit. That's who it was. That's why he couldn't say the name. Also, JBL was a fucking dick. JBL being a dick to young people. What? I mean, whether Miz's attitude endeared him to people or not, I mean, I think that there were examples of hazing that nobody deserved. He got over despite all the obstacles. He kept getting beat up. He faced off against a boogeyman. He teamed up with Morrison. They briefly touched on the dirt sheet. Then they broke up. And then he, did this feud with John Cena, this one-sided feud where he ran him down for 8 weeks and everything while Cena was out. I don't remember if Cena was out doing a movie or he was just out due to injury, but he was out at some point. He just kept running him down. And eventually, they had a match at The Bash, not the Great American Bash, not Bash at the Beach, The Bash, 2009. And Cena steamrolled him. Just ran him over. They didn't stop The Miz, though. He did win the U.S. Championship from Kofi Kingston in October 2009 and kept holding that. Eventually would lose it to Daniel Bryan in, I think it was like 2010. It was like Night of Champions 2010, I believe. He would win the Money in the Bank briefcase at Money in the Bank 2010. And, he's going to be the first one to lose. It's obviously going to be the first one to lose. Aha, he did not. He cashed in after Randy Orton beat Wade Barrett on the Raw after Survivor Series 2010. And Angry Miz Girl, it's kind of scary now to think that she's, this is how long ago that was. I think she's college age or a little bit past college age. Like, where does the time go? That's a little bit weird. And then he was WWE champion, felt slighted. It was all about Rock and Cena after Rock had made his triumphant return. And he impersonates The Rock, talks about being in the wig or the bald cap. And Vince McMahon says, no, wait for this, pal. Ha, ha, ha. The music kind of goes down, and then it just rumbles back up, and the crowd was thunderous. They thought The Rock was going to come out, but no. The Rock wasn't out. It was Miz as The Rock. And they booed him. He rock bottomed Cena, beat him up, and this was just a few weeks before Mania 27, and that basically settled it. It was going to be Miz versus Cena. They did blow by the fact that Miz took a header and actually suffered a concussion. He was knocked out. He admitted that on, I think it was a Table for 3 episode, where he was just, he doesn't remember anything. I mean, he could rewatch it, but he doesn't remember anything. And he did retain against Cena. Rock did come out and rock bottom Cena, but I digress. Miz beating Cena in the Mania 27 main event, that was a big deal. That was a big fucking deal. Really, really impressive they managed to do that. They managed to pull that off because I think everybody thought that Miz was going to lose, but no, he retained and then lost it at Extreme Rules 2011, and then faced Cena again at Over the Limit 2011. I was there for that I Quit match. It was shit. It was great to see Bret Hart there. Bret Hart showing up and putting the sharpshooter on Michael Cole, so Shane didn't lean back further, so Michael Cole wouldn't be part of the commentary team anymore, but enough. It's about The Miz. He used his opportunity to get in TV and film. He did the Marines 4, 5, and 6, or 3, 4, 5, and 6. I forgot they did 6 Marine movies as well. And he had this idea on the set of the Marine 4. Hey, I want to be an A-list actor, but I only want to do I'm only going to have done straight to DVD movies. So he decides to basically be, he comes up with, he says this inspiration came from seeing tapes of Andy Kaufman when Andy Kaufman was in that feud with Jerry Lawler in Memphis Wrestling. And he was just mocking him and talking about being a big Hollywood actor. Maybe he took it from Andy Kaufman, let's be honest. Andy Kaufman did it better. But, and it sounds like I'm disparaging The Miz. I'm not. I give him credit. I'm still not a big fan of The Miz, but I give him respect for this, even if it was whitewashing a few things. He did the Andy Kaufman clips. It was kind of cool to see that. Of course, he then talks about talking smack with Bryan. He blew up, Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan was even got to be part of this. This obviously was filmed way, way before he went to AEW. But he said, I don't like Mike or The Miz. And he does. They don't get along all that well, but you wrestle like a coward, Bryan says. And Miz got pissed. He said he went blank. It was uncomfortable because he doesn't like losing control of himself like that. And that really fired people up and I think gave people a different respect or a new kind of respect for The Miz. And I'll say this much. I don't know how much is real, how much is kayfabe, how much they worked it. I don't know. I believe there was quite a bit of realism in it because I believe Miz was very fed up with all the shit that was being said about him. And I've been as guilty of it as anybody else. I still stand by a lot of what I said, but the man's earned millions of dollars. The company sees a whole lot in him, and he has had a really successful career. Now, I'm not saying he's one of my favorites. He never will be. He will be in the WWE Hall of Fame because they've inducted people for less, and he's been there for. He gets a 2000, or he gets a 2000 or 2024 rather. He will have been in there for what, 20 years? And conceivably, I think he signed a new contract sometime last year, maybe in 2019. I don't know. I know he signed a big contract, and he's definitely going to retire as a WWE superstar. And he did some good stuff, even if it wasn't my favorite. I got to give credit. They've stuck with him. He's stuck with them. And Vince McMahon does appreciate loyalty in most respects. So no, not my favorite, but good on The Miz for earning a whole bunch of money, despite the fact that really his mic work is the best and his in-ring work isn't the worst. It's just not great. But yeah, anyway, agree, disagree, what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Rentlin. I'll see you soon.